What's the value of middle management and a surprising habit of great leaders? In this video, Simon Sinek talks about that one of the most challenging positions in the firm is that of the middle manager.
The infinite game is not the absence of finite games. It's the infinite game is the context within which those finite games exist. But if you're ignorant of the existence of the infinite game, then all you're ever playing is finite, but you're in an infinite game, and you will do damage. Jack Welch once said, long-term is simply a series of short-term. No, it's not. Absolutely, it's not. Because if all you do is play short, eventually you create long-term damage. You do damage to your culture, you do damage to your clients. You've put so many cheap ingredients in your product, you've actually, destroyed the quality of your product. And eventually it catches up with you. If all you're doing is playing finite. It's more efficient when it comes from the top, but of course it doesn't have to come from the top. The tail can absolutely wag the dog. And I think middle management is the most difficult job in a company. And it's also the place where the most change and the most impact can happen. I've met so many fantastic senior leaders who are infinite-minded and long-term focused and all the things. And then you get down to the front lines and you're like, it's a complete disaster. And so you ask your question, well, what's happening in the middle? Because something's getting lost in translation. And being middle management is the most difficult job in the company because you have to be able to play both, right? Because if you're a gate agent for an airline, you want them playing the finite game. You want them getting that plane to leave on time, beginning, middle, and end, on to the next, right? But you want them to be aware of the infinite game, which is treat customers well because we want them to come back again. Like there's another thing that happens after this. It's not just getting the plane off on time. When you're the most senior leader, you want them playing predominantly an infinite game, thinking long-term, advancing the vision, but you want them to be aware of the finite because their decisions will ripple down and have an impact in the organization. If you're in the middle, you have to be able to translate and play both. It is the most difficult, which is why talking about the two types of games and understanding the game that you're in, because you play by the rules for the game that you're in. You don't always play finite. You don't always play infinite. Sometimes you have to adjust. If you have a new business pitch, there's a beginning, middle, and end to that. That is finite. An election, there's a beginning, middle, and end to that. Governance is infinite. Taking care of a customer is infinite. Winning a customer is finite.
There's a great story told by Nelson Mandela, which I think is a good lesson. You're asking for a specific tip. He was actually born the son of a tribal chief. And when asked by a journalist, how did you become a great leader? And as an aside, Nelson Mandela is a very important case study because different personalities are viewed differently depending on where you go in the world. But Nelson Mandela, regardless of where you go in the world, is universally regarded as a great leader. So he's an important case for folks like me. And he was asked by a journalist, how did you learn to become a great leader? And he said, when I was a boy, I remember two things. I remember going to tribal meetings with my father. And I remember that they always sat in a circle, and my father was always the last to speak. And if you think he's the most senior person in the room, he's this tribal chief, and he was always the last to speak. We're constantly telling people you have to be a better listener. But at the end of the day, we have to speak eventually, and when we communicate. But I think the practice of being the last to speak when you're in a meeting, we do this all the time. The senior person comes and goes, okay, even well-intentioned, this is the problem, this is the challenge we have, this is what I think we should do, but I'm interested in what you have to say. Well, it's too late. You've biased the room. It's over. Or you've made people feel that their opinion doesn't matter. And so for leaders to practice listening, and this is by the way, I'm tired of the term soft skills. Hard skills are the skills we need to learn to do our jobs, and human skills are the skills we need to be better human beings. And it's the combination of hard skills and human skills that make us very good. And listening is one of those. So I think coming into a meeting, stating a problem, not giving an opinion, not playing poker, not letting anybody know what you think as they speak, asking questions only out of curiosity, not to push somebody in one direction or another, and literally be the last to speak. Not only do you make people feel like their opinions matter, but you get the benefit of new ideas.
A well-known author, motivational speaker, and authority on leadership, Simon Sinek is recognized for his perspective and motivating insights on business, leadership, and organizational culture. Sinek discusses the importance of middle management in businesses in one of his speeches. He offers the following salient points. First, Sinek contends that middle managers are crucial for converting an organization's strategic goal into realistic day-to-day actions. Senior leaders frequently have lofty goals for the future of the company, but it is the middle managers who must translate those goals into reality. To make the vision a reality, they are the ones that define objectives, make plans, and allocate funds. Without middle managers, an organization's strategic strategy would remain only that, a vision. Second, Sinek contends that middle managers are essential in ensuring that organizational culture matches the company's mission and values. Organizational culture is a strong force that can either help or impede efforts to achieve objectives. Because they are the ones most involved in day-to-day operations of the workforce, middle managers are in a unique position to shape the culture of the firm. When cultural practices conflict with the strategic goal, they can spot them and work to modify them. Thirdly, Sinek contends that middle managers are critical to an organization's talent development. They are in charge of determining the competencies needed to achieve organizational objectives and designing training and development initiatives to assist staff in gaining those competencies. Middle managers also frequently play a crucial role in identifying high potential employees and assisting them in advancing their careers within the company. Without middle managers, the organization would struggle to retain and develop its finest personnel, since talent development would be left to chance. Fourth, Sinek says that middle managers are crucial for motivating and energizing workers. They have the strongest ties to the workers and are able to spot signs of employee disengagement or low motivation. Middle managers can contribute to increase employees' engagement and motivation, which in turn results in higher level of productivity and better business outcomes. By fostering a favorable workplace culture and offering staff members opportunity for personal and professional development. Middle managers are crucial for communication inside an organization, according to Sinek's final point. They serve as a link between senior leadership and frontline staff and in charge of making sure that messages are effectively and consistently disseminated across the whole business. They also help guarantee that choices are made with the requirements of employees in mind by giving senior management insightful input about how decisions and initiatives affect the workforce. Finally, Simon Sinek thinks that middle managers are crucial to businesses. They are in charge of putting the strategic vision into practice, coordinating culture with vision and values, fostering employee engagement and motivation, and ensuring clear communication across the entire organization. Without middle managers, businesses would find it difficult to accomplish their strategic objectives, keep their finest workers, and foster a productive workplace. As a result, firms should recognize and encourage middle managers and provide them with the tools and resources they require to be successful in their positions. One of the most challenging positions in the firm is that of the middle manager. They play and translate both the finite and infinite game as the intermediaries between senior management and the workplace, a unique duty that may make or break a company. It might come naturally to us as leaders to speak up frequently and early. However, great leaders understand that deferring your viewpoint until the end of the discussion will offer your staff the room they need to come up with original ideas. Great leaders, in Sinek's opinion, have the habit of enclosing their followers in a secure zone. He explains that the circle of safety is a place where individuals can feel supported and protected, allowing them to perform at their highest level. In order to make his point, Sinek compares corporate groups to the military. He emphasizes that in the military, the commander is in charge of ensuring the security and welfare of his soldiers. Because they are confident in their leader's ability to protect them, the troops are prepared to risk their lives for him or her. But in commercial organizations where the bottom line is frequently the focus, workers may feel like they are disposable. This strategy, according to Sinek, is myopic since it results in a lack of dedication and devotion from workers. Sinek advises leaders to concentrate on fostering trust among their followers in order to establish a circle of safety. Being open, truthful, and vulnerable with them entails doing this. Additionally, leaders need to foster an atmosphere where people feel free to express their opinions without worrying about being punished. Additionally, Sinek stresses the significance of empathy in leadership. In order to make judgments that are beneficial for their followers, leaders should take the time to comprehend their wants and concerns. Outro. Hope you liked the video. Thanks for watching. For more videos, like and please subscribe.